Hello friends, welcome to Latina Nova. I'll show you the evolution from classical Latin to a modern language. It was a long way from the early sketches to the now high-developed result of thinking and designing. This language opens a new gate to culture. The ancient Latin is the basis of Latina Nova, but easier to learn, more logical, with modern vocabulary. The classical Latin copula to be is the result of an old linguistic evolution. The expert immediately recognizes its morphology. This is not necessary for you. In Latina Nova, some endings are taken over, and they are used regularly. Now I'll show you how Latina Nova works. Let us begin with the copula, to be. This is essential for the verbal tempus. The copula in Latina Nova is used as in English. The first person resembles to me. The marker of the plural is always the letter I, spoken E. This is a fine trait and easily to remember. In the next slide I'll demonstrate how useful the copula is. Once learned, it can be applied to all verbs. I have taken an example of a verb conjugation in classical Latin that depends on the verb stem. But this fact may not bother you. A new language should not be the clone of a historically grown language. The learners of classical Latin are overwhelmed with the immense number of different endings. And the different endings are ambiguous. This deficit is now overthrown by a better linguistical system. In Latina Nova there is a regular schema, how you express the different persons. The first person ends with M, the second person ends with S, and the third person has no special ending. A language cannot exist without nouns. In classical Latin, the declination is a big burden for every learner. You cannot understand a written text fast. The classical authors had played with all possibilities, which their language had offered to them. If you want to let burst your brain, then you must read Cicero and Tacitus. In a well-developed language, there should be a clear structure of the sentences, and a clear morphology, without ambiguities. Now, I'll explain to you the nouns. I have taken only one example of a noun in classical Latin. There exist 6 characteristic noun declinations in this old language. It is a system of declensions, which are obsolete, and a heritage of the old Indo-European tribes 6,000 years ago. Many people think they depended on the gender of humans, but this is wrong. In old times the genders had a semantical function to show the classes of meaning, such as in modern African language like Swahili. In Latina Nova this obsolete system doesn't exist. With 2 particles you can express the genitive del and dative al. The accusative has the ending n in the singular or s in the plural. That's all to know. The tempus of the copula to be doesn't only consist of the present tense. The past tense, the future tense, and the forms in the compound past tenses are important. As you can see, the compound tenses have the characteristical marker F. In Latina Nova the marker F is also used, and you take the same words of the simple tenses to construct the compound tenses perfect, past perfect, and future perfect. This is an easy way to orientate in the tenses, and much shorter than in English. The auxiliary verb to have has an important role in modern Western languages. It is used so often. This verb was a big hunk for me. It took an extremely long time for me to develop a well-comprehensible system. I found a solution for a good understanding and pronunciation of the different forms of this verb. Just during the generation of this video, inner pressure let boost my brain. I think this system is the best of all my linguistic experiments. The main verbs in classical Latin are belet in different conjugations. A learner must determine the stem, and so understand what is meant. And classical Latin doesn't spare with ambiguous endings, some of them are so similar and can be mixed. In Latina Nova you will detect the copula to be as endings of verbs. M is the first person. Eben is the past tense and sera is the future. And easy for you, the compound form of to have are used in the same way. The compound tenses of the main verbs are shorter than in English. They are phonetically distinguished and can be understood well. Similarities to the English construction are not by chance, but with intent. This was the first part of the introduction of Latina Nova. I hope you enjoyed this new language. And this is me, the creator of Latina Nova, a language which has attended me for over 40 years. Now is your turn to make a go of it.